Hi, it's Ra, Rishi Kavi Raghudas from Star Presence Astrology, here to give the astrological forecast for Wednesday, June 24th, 2026. Kind of an intense day, astrologically speaking, at least in the early portion, then it smooths out. The sun today is at 3 degrees of ultra-sensitive, often moody, but ultimately nurturing water sign Cancer. And the moon is in another water sign, and now that is the early degrees of deep, dark, emotionally intense water sign Cancer. Now, when both sun and moon are in water signs, it's generally a highly creative and intuitive sort of time period where we kind of feel our way through the day, and our intuitions and everything to do with our feelings is foregrounded. Well, today is one of those days, especially early on, because the moon, when it gets to 3 degrees of Scorpio, makes a harmonious flowing trine to the sun, and that is quite early in the day. The sun, of course, is at 3 of Cancer at 5:43 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 8:43 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and 1:43 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. That is extremely lovely, and believe me, that's a moment to get up and meditate and do creative work or whatever. Everything else, everything is flowing at that moment. After that, we come to a series of tougher aspects before we get a nice flowing day out of it after all of that. But the first thing that happens is that while the moon is still at 3 degrees of Scorpio, it makes an awkward inconjunct, an 150-degree adapt, adjust, accommodate angle to Uranus, the chaos planet, sitting at 3 degrees of Gemini. And that is exact, about 45 minutes or so after the moon trine sun aspect at 6:24 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 9:24 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and 2:24 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So that's one of those, well, if you're stuck in traffic or you're in the midst of something else first thing in the morning, be aware because things could go awry easily under this kind of energy. And a couple of hours after that, we have the moon now at 4 degrees of Scorpio, making another awkward inconjunct, and this one is to Neptune, the planet of dreams and visions, and the higher end of things, creativity and spirituality, but also illusion, delusion, and confusion on the lower end of things. And this is one of those aspects that would tend to confuse the hell out of us. 8:22 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time is when that's exact. 11:22 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time and 4:22 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So no big decisions under this kind of energy. And then about an hour after that, we get to the moon now at 5 degrees of Scorpio in a hard 90-degree square, tough angle, a tension-filled angle to Pluto, the Lord of concentrated power, at 5 degrees of Aquarius. This is not one of those energies you want to confront head-on. This is one of those manipulate or be manipulated kind of energies. Don't get into power issues with people under this transit. That occurs 9:37 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 12:37 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and 5:37 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. We get through all of that, and there are no other lunar aspects for the whole day. In fact, there are no other connections, period, for the whole day. So we start out with kind of a tension-filled morning, and then we get to this free-floating, unaspected Scorpio moon, which is kind of moody, broody by itself. So we can expect a lot of intense feelings going on today, although it does get better as the day goes on, and we have this nice free flow of the Scorpio moon. One good thing today is that it's highly creative and intuitive. This is where your own psychic perceptions could kick up. This is one of those days where you're kind of feeling everything in on a deep level. So let's make that a positive thing today. I'm Ra, Rishi Kavi Raghudas from Star Presence Astrology. If you'd like to have a personal reading with me, you can book it on my website. Please do. starpresence.net. Remember, from the very moment that you're born, you've got star presence. Enjoy today, no matter what.